Okay. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yep, everything's working. Let's just check the angles. Angles are good. Just get myself on in the mobile phone, then I can monitor myself. Go into there. That's it, we're online. Cool. So I can talk to you on this one. And I've got all the controls on that one. We've also got the synthesizer on this one. I'll put the code in. This is the Korg Kronos. Fantastic bit again. So, hi guys, how you doing? Hope you're all well. And enjoying the sunshine when it gets there. I know what I've got here. No, don't want that one. No, don't want that one. Options, go here. Okay, no, I want the Korg Kronos, thank you very much. No, okay, it's not going to give me the Korg Kronos tonight for some reason. Bit temperamental. That's the only problem when you've got an app on a phone, you've got to have the network to run it. You can't download it because it's got too much information on it. What is it doing now? Gone to a screen I don't recognise. Do I really want that one? Probably not. Okay, let's see if we can get rid of that. Get rid of that. It's gone to a stupid advert. Why has it gone to an advert? Oh well, never mind. So, how you doing guys? Hope you're well. Made a composter today out of my green bin. It's a bit of a glide on that. That's a bit more of a. That's quite cool, isn't it? Go to the second one. Speed her up a bit. I like that. Okay, I might do a bit of Depeche Mode on that one. That sounds a beat that you can do. Yeah, so my green bin, well, you pay a stupid amount of money at the moment, £50 they wanted to take it away. And I says, no, I've got a trailer, I can take it away when I want. So I decided, what am I going to do? I've already paid for this stupid bin anyway, for when I first had it. I'm going to make it into a composter. And as you see, there's the videos and there's a few photos of what we did today. So should be okay, should be cool. I know, monitoring myself, got one ear going. Let's get it in one ear. Is that better? Yeah, sort of. I think that might be a bad bit of connection in the wire. Never mind, that's okay. But yeah, it's worked out quite well. I've got it at the back of the old greenhouse there, and I've been planting some seeds, some carrots, some cucumber, some radishes, some potatoes. Yeah, a bit of all sorts. Okay, well I hope you enjoyed it last week. I did all the Eurovision Song Contest stuff that the England won. And we would be still winning if these countries didn't keep voting for themselves. Or the country next door. Bad. Okay, a little bit of Depeche Mode then. This is Just Can't Get Enough. the 80s. How you doing, guys? Well, a bit the old Depeche Mode there. Yeah, a lot of people like me playing the 80s stuff. And if I've got the rhythm and know roughly what I'm playing, I can usually do it from there. Never had to learn it, and just hum the tune in that. In all my stuff that I've got on BANDCAMP, 32 albums, different genres, could be classical, could be country, could be a bit of Ibiza, could be old time songs, could be everything, Beatles, the whole lot. I only have to think it, and I can play it. Always been like that ever since I was a 3-year-old. So, there you go. Been watching a few films, so I'm a bit late tonight. But there again, people in America and a few hours behind us are now watching in the afternoon, which is, just about the right time. So it's 2 o'clock in the morning here, or basically just 2 o'clock. Is it 2 o'clock in the morning? Yes, it's 1 o'clock actually. Yeah, 1:20 in the UK. So let's work this out, because I know a lot of people around the world. So we're looking at 5 hours back for the USA in California. So we are looking at 1, 2, 3. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 9 o'clock in the evening. There you go, 9 o'clock in the evening. In America, in Australia, obviously it's a little bit different. So you're probably looking at now 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You see, there's a little bit of time differences and all that, so I suppose really I ought to have clocks in here with all time differences, because I know people from all over the world and at different times. And they all say if you can go on at a certain time when I'm at a certain time, I have to work it out in the UK, because obviously we're 5 hours in front. Or sometimes 6 hours or something. Depending on America, if you're somewhere in California, then basically 5 hours. If you're talking to somebody in the other side, like Washington and that, then it's a little bit different. It's more like 8 hours. So it's very strange. It's either 8 hours one way, or it's either 5 hours, because it's such a big area and like. But there you go. All got Gary on there. Where are you from, guy? Gary, so you are from, let's see, I don't know, I can't really actually change the screen on that one. So basically, yeah, are you in the States? Or in the UK? You might be in the UK like me, it's 4. It's a little bit different time difference. We are a little bit late, I suppose. I've been watching some films and yeah, it was good. It was Mission Impossible. The Mission Impossible. That's the one they did last year, so that was good. And they've made it like part 2. So part 2 is next week. No, it might be next week actually. Or part 2 is the new one that's in the cinemas now. That's right. So that'll take about another few years before that just gets on. Hope that's coming out to you guys okay? Yeah, that's alright, that's no problem. I'm listening to it through the headphones. Got my radio mic on because somebody's asleep next door, so I do it this way, and then basically I'm just talking to you nice and gently, but you can hear it like I'm in the studio and got it quite loud. Well, what's happened this week? I put most of my music now to sync licensing through a different company that picks it by AI, and I'm part of their team collaborating with them, so they can use my music to see if the AI can pick it all up. And the idea is it's for music supervisors to pick the songs. So because it's such a pain in the arse to do, write all the bits and bobs, the tags and everything and all that, it's a different way of doing it. You actually register your music the way you would normally do it, and what happens is the music supervisors would write, I want a song that's giving me a bit of a bass beat, and they'd write this out to a blank screen, and also they actually tell what the song wants to be like, with a bit of beat there, a bit of romance and there, and backgrounds, this and that. All of a sudden this AI sorts it all out, writes it all out as it would be, with all the codes, the tests and all that, and all the things in the right places, and all the print, or everything you have to do for streamlining and putting your stuff for films and studios and stuff, all the paperwork. And then it does a deep search, and it goes and finds it for them, and there you go. And if they're an artist like me, which give all the consent to anything that anyone the music wants to put music to, or my music anyway, because I'm the sole artist, I've got 100% rights, so I can say yes, you can have that for that music, or you can have that for the advert, or you can have that for a talk on something, you know, or a show, or whatever like. There's nothing problem there, like, you know, and it seems a great little system. Someone thought of the idea, using AI to actually pick it on all, and it's ideal for music supervisors, and they're the people that actually are in charge. They're picking the songs to go to adverts, films, you know, stuff like that. They're the people that want it. If they want it, they fill it in like that, and we just play it. So now all I have to do is just make my music, send it over to them, and that's it. I've got 150 songs over there at the moment, including some of my 432 relaxed stuff, which is ideal for, well, if you've heard it, it's going to fit anything. It's going to be ideal for background, when probably David Attenborough's talking on the background, like in you know, where you get all this weird sounds and that. You can have it for a space, mostly for space thing, because it's ambient stuff, and it's I do a few tricks with the software I've got here. I don't draw, I don't do any of that, putting the stuff here and putting stuff there. That's not my thing. I don't faff around with computers and trans things and move things. As I play in 432, these are all tuned to 432, which is a little bit different off the full tuning of a 440, which we were all told to do, which is wrong. I play in 432, which is a nice smooth sound to the ear and the body and everything else. And the difference is that it's a warmer, smoother sound, and it does a few good things to your body. Well, I'm 63 anyway, but people keep saying I'm 40, and I'm thinking, yeah, that'll do nicely. Yeah. Okay, right. Let's do some more of it. What are you? Back to the 80s, eh? The best time. Billy old Human League there. Good old 80s. Good old 80s. Hey Stephen, how you doing? We got some company. Oh yeah, pineapple and blackcurrant, lovely. Can't go wrong. Hey, how you doing guys? Looks like you've got some Tauruses there, Steve. I can see the picture anyway. Nice one. I've got one of them downstairs. The R3. I'm on that one tomorrow actually. I do that one on my Sunday chill. This is my Saturday live. A little bit later today, I must admit, but it's good for me talking around the world because time difference, obviously. And obviously the UK faffs about with the time in the winter, but over in the States they don't. Everything is normal. I think most of the countries don't muck about with time difference. It's only the UK that has to be a blooming idiot and muck about with it. So then, of course, we get stupid hours that get dark and then they get light and oh dear. I don't know, it's terrible. So, yeah, what a game. So, what we're going to do, we were doing a little bit of the old, Human League there. Funny enough, the next one that I'm going to play is talking about sync licensing. There's one guy that was, probably a lot of people don't realise that the guy that's in the next one that I was doing in the 80s, which is a very well-known one by Trevor Horn, let's give it away, and called Video Killed the Radio Star. The guy actually that plays the keyboards at the back, a lot of people don't realise that that is Hans Zimmer, and he's a very young Hans Zimmer, but he was one of the first one to be on the first video that was on YouTube when YouTube came straight onto the screen, and the very first one that came on was Video Killed the Radio Star, which was quite cool. Video Killed the Radio Star. So obviously that's implementing that the video channel has killed the radio. That's very clever. But anyway, Franz Zimmer, he does all the actual background music for quite a lot of big films, and he costs millions and millions of pounds, and he's worth millions and millions of pounds. And the gear he's got is fantastic. I've seen loads of it. I've got him on Facebook as a friend, and he's a nice guy actually. I'll get on right well with him, really. And he likes playing in 432, which is the secret frequency. That's our secret, and it ends. Let me think. Video Kill the Radio Star. Let's go find a rhythm. That's the best bet, isn't it? Let's find a rhythm. What should we have? One of them rhythms? I don't know. Let's just see what the background is for this. Yeah, it would fit. Probably a bit too much on there. Let's go, guys. Oh no, that's a bit more country. Wants to be a bit more rocketified, doesn't it? Really. Let's have a look what we got here. Go into this one. Beat 2. Nope. Let's try beat 3. That'll do. That'll do it. Okay. Okay, bit of Video Killed Radio Star then. That'll fit. Video killed the radio star. Oh, hello, got a thing come up there. So, Windows has detected an ID address conflict, really. Oh well, forget about that one, just keep going. Yeah, so a little bit of old Video Killed the Radio Star, and Hans Zimmer, who does all the actual music for Dunes and the Gladiators and stuff like that. Yeah, he was the very first guy that was in the Buggles. Video Killed the Radio Star. How do I know all this? I'm a DJ. We have to know these things. Now I just pick and choose my DJing one. Although I'm selling my gear, basically I'm just doing my keyboard stuff now. Go around the care homes and do private gigs. It's all we need really, because now I'm putting all my music to film, TV, studio, whatever they want to put it to. Netflix, Quest, I don't know. It could even be on Shiddenberries, you never know. You never know. You never know. Good thing about this AI software, it picks. See, the only thing used to be able to get into music licensing, they had selected people that would do the music for them. And they all knew each other, big names, big Hollywood people, all that sort of thing, so they stuck to them. But now, the good thing about with this AI, it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, who you know, or anything like that. As long as you do the music and it accepts it, that's it. Because AI only does yes or no. It doesn't have a middleman that says, I don't really know. Because if you have a middleman that don't really know, that stops everything, really, you know. And that is the problem with the world. We have a middleman somewhere in the line. Every sort of genre, every job, every activity, everything that has to go through the middleman, he's the one that can't make his mind up, and that's what slows the job down. With AI, it's different to that. And I support it, I do. I think it's good. I use it for all my photos, for my pictures, for my vinyl covers. For all my album covers. If you go to BANDCAMP, it's where I put all my music for listening to and buying digitally. And then there's another company I've got going that do all my vinyls and my CDs, and they're basically all the albums that's on BANDCAMP, but they are another company that does vinyls and CDs. And you buy it online, and they send it straight to you all over the world. Brilliant, you know. You cannot go wrong. You just can't go wrong. It's a fantastic system. I only have to just put the music out there. They sell it. They take their half, whatever they want, and then I get a little bit of money out of it. Don't get some massive amount because the technology obviously costs a lot to work, but yeah, it's all right. And the good thing about it is the reason I do this with this modern system is if you look at the quality of the vinyl covers, it's just like you go into a shop and buy it straight out of a shop. It's top professional stuff. Like all the big bands always go with this company, but they used to be in the past very, very expensive to actually have 500 albums or 5,000. I think the minimum was 5,000. But this new company does it with printers, massive sort of commercial printers, like, you know, so they print it all out, fibre optic printing, stuff like that, and it's just the same sound as vinyl, but the good thing is it sounds better, apparently. It sounds really better. I mean, I've had one or two albums. I've had one album which is lost. There it is. Yeah, I've had one album done on my 432 Relax as a test album. I mean, look at this. Top quality or what? Hang on, pull the flipping plug out then. Top quality or what? Look at that beautiful album there. I did the designing, that's on the B side. Here is, look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And it's also wrote inside there and all. Look at that. So I thought I'd just do it. Hang on, talking to myself again. That's it. I'll just do a test print, and see what it comes out like. And I tell you what, it's absolutely fantastic. It really is. Standing on my cable again. That's the only problem. I think there's a dodgy thing there. I'm getting left and right in me both ears here. Yeah, that'll probably have to be a new plug. Yeah. Let's put that over there. That's it. I can hear it. So there you go. Look, that's the album. A vinyl. Beautiful one. And I've also got the CD. The CD version, look beautiful. Actually, that's done with AI. And I think the cover is actually done by AI. Look at that, beautiful, eh? And the CD itself is done like that. I could have actually had it like that and all, but I didn't at the time, but I can do now because I know how it all works. It was just sort of trial and error. There's all the bits and bobs on the back there, you see. They're £12. This one's a little bit expensive because it's vinyl. Obviously, everyone says, you know, vinyl's expensive. It's £27, which is quite expensive, but it's a brand new album. It's a brand new technology, and it's all done like that. Look at that. So you can put that on a player and play it, and apparently it sounds really, really nice. So that's my relaxation stuff. There's 36 albums. I mean, best thing is to check out my profile, go to BANDCAMP, listen to all the stuff, and then go to the little link that's next further down, and they're the company that does it. And they have basically a display exactly like BANDCAMP, so you've got all the albums on there. I think I've only got 4 or 5 on there at the moment, but eventually I will get all 36. I might even have more by then because I keep banging these things out quite quick. And you can either have the CD or the vinyl, and it comes straight to your house. You know, what a fantastic service. What a fantastic service. And you don't have to have minimum, you know, before they'll do it. That's the good thing about it. It's a just-in-time system. They're on the buy it now, like, you know. So I think it's fantastic. Put it in the back of, put it with all them. There you go. Yeah, that's one good thing. Actually, what's that? When you're a DJ, and I've been doing it since 2008, I've had loads of people say, oh, I've got loads of vinyls, I'm chucking them out, do you want them? Over the years, you accommodate 3,000 records. All nice, you know, I've listened to quite a few of them, and there's anything from 1917, classical stuff. I've got original 12-inch album singles there. I've got Beatles stuff there. I've got Motown. I've got everything. 3,000 albums. 3,000 records. There's some more here. 80s records there, and 80s, 90s, 70s records. All originals. You know, I'm thinking of getting rid of all 3,000 records. Anyone comes along and gives me £3,000 for 3,000 records, take the lot. What the idea is that I've got so many sort of online achievements and certificates, but I've got nowhere to put them. That's why if I can get rid of all them records, I can put them on that wall all the way along there. That'll look really, really smart, because I've got loads of achievements I've done on my YouTube and everything. So, you know, if anyone's out there, a vinyl check collector, £3,000, that's a pound. That's a pound a record. And some of them vinyl ones, some of them Motown ones up there are hundreds of pounds each. You know, I mean, I'll give you an instance. 2 of the very, very rare ones are here. Do you know a company called Tamla Motown? There you go. Tamla Motown, Stevie Wonder. Never Dream of You there, and we can't work it out. We can work it out. That's the one. Original Tamla Motown ones, 2. Another one there. That's Stevie Wonder again. Boogie on Rag Woman, and Steam's So Long. So they're in the hundreds like themselves. And there's loads of different things like that. It took me ages to sort of sell them separately, but anyone wants to make, if you can't make £9,000 to £10,000 out of that lot, then you're doing your job badly, because most of that lot would be worth a fortune. It's just I haven't got the time to sell it. I just ain't. I've done all that. I want to now just get rid of all that lot so I can actually have all my vinyls. And since £1 is the cheapest I can do it without giving the things away, you know, I think it's fair. So £3,000, 3,000 records from 70, and you can't come along and pick what you want. That's a no. Okay, the deal is £3,000, 3,000 records. You've got vinyls, you've got every song thing you can think of there, and you can't come along and say, oh, that one's more than that one. Yes, you're going to have one that's worth probably not so much as the other one, but you're still going to make more than a quid, aren't you? You know, it's a no-brainer. If I sold these out tomorrow, I'd make 200 quid out of these two. You know. So, and another one here, I'll just pick one at random. What have we got here? This looks interesting. Okay, this one is Zager and Evans. Zager and Evans. Another Zager and Evans. In the year 2025. Now, that one is going back really a lot. 1969, original, in the RC label. Now that one possibly worth £20–25, something like that. Might even be worth more, I don't know, I'll have to look it up. But you put it on at £20–25, they'll either buy it, or they'll either fight over it, or one or the other. I could do that way, you know, there is that. Or basically I could let a collector come along, take the whole lot, brilliant, out of the way, for me anyway. And he'd have a bargain. As I say, he couldn't make double it, treble it, or anything like that. But what I don't want is what I've had one or two people come along and say, oh yeah, I'll come and have a look. No, you won't come and have a look. The deal is 3,000 records for £3,000. If you want 3,000 records, 3,000 records. You sort out how you want to do it. If you want to put £5 on each, you know, say one goes for £5. You still made certain money, ain't you? You know, it's. I cannot get it through to these people. You know, they want to make money, but they want to rip you off. Well, it don't happen with me, I'm afraid, because I'm a businessman. The deal is 3,000. There's records down there. There's Beatles. There's Fleetwood Mac. You've got Thin Lizzy. You've got Bowie. You know, talking at them, you're looking at £50–60 just for those. The minimum I'm talking about, and all. So if you can't treble your money out of that, don't bother talking to me. If you're interested, get in touch, okay? Now then, what am I going to play? How about a bit of Pet Shop Boys? taste. I bet the old Pet Shop Boys. And another one. Let's have a look. Oh, it's coming up 2 o'clock. Change cameras.
Heartbeat, one of the old Pet Shop Boys ones there, a very, very well-known one.
So we've done 2 of the old Pet Shop Boys there. Okay, we're going to move on to the Technics now, from a 40-year-old keyboard, or 40-year-old keyboards, to a 30-year-old keyboard. See, I don't have the modern stuff. We have the best stuff, because they were made in a year when there was no problem with money. Everyone had plenty of money in the 80s. The economy was good, so there's no need to scrimp on things. Not like now, where people make things to break, which is not good. So that's why I won't have new stuff, because new stuff breaks, and you've got to be so damn gentle with it, because they make things so thin, and they're not bothered if it breaks, because what they'll do is they'll just sell you another one. Crafty. But in the 80s, when the economy was good, everything was working fantastic, you could buy keyboards like that would last a bloody lifetime. Keyboards like this will last a lifetime. They are still going. These are 80s keyboards. Hit the right button. Call that. So, don't always buy new stuff, because, tell you the truth, the new stuff is not made well. And they don't make it well, make it to break. You've got to be so damn gentle with them. You can't be... Can't put feeling into it, like, not, you might break something. It's bloody stupid, like. But these have always been in studios, so there's no chance that they've been gigged or anything. But the keyboards here, these are when they came out with £2,500. Now, sounds a lot, but think about that when that's in the 80s. £2,500 in the 80s is equal to about £12,000. So looking like a £12,000 keyboard there. And another one, and then probably over here. This one would be about £2,000 and all, so you're looking at another £12,000. So there's quite a lot of rarities. They are very rare. And this one's quite a rare one, little one, but it's a Technics. Basically, they are a little bit more modern. These came out in the 90s. They're all top of the range. And the reason that you don't see many of those keyboards over there is because they was too expensive to buy at the time, so it wouldn't be sort of like a hobby or anything, it would be for professionals. And a lot of them weren't sold into the UK, they were sold in the America and stuff like that, where people had plenty of money to use. So, I mean, even like Depeche Mode, when they were started up, they had the keyboards which are so expensive that they were the cheapest of the range, so they was just expensive. People just couldn't afford them. Okay, let's have a look what we got in here. I think if I hold that down there, I should be able to rechange that and reprogram that one back into there. Well, I was going to finish about 2, but I think we might go on a little bit longer. One that gets called a lot of times. They love this one. It's Enola Gay. Enola Gay there, and these techniques were way ahead of their time. I mean, it came out in the 80s. This was probably in the 80s, early 90s. You know, amazing. I mean, I'm lucky to got this one, because this one has been in a package 20 years in a box, all packed up from a shop, and I bought it for £300, I think, something like that. So it's like brand new, really. It's the second one I had. I had a silver one, kept that for a little while. Didn't do much with it, but this one basically, I do loads of things with this one. There's about 8 registrations memory of 10, so you've got 80 different registrations you can put in. So I use them for each panel for programming a song, or all the bits and bobs what you need to play the song. Obviously I have to do the bits and bobs, but and there again, it like that. So there you go. This is Believe. There you go. As simple as that. If I can hum it, I can play it. And they're all on BANDCAMP, so check it out, guys. Okay, well, thanks a lot for joining me. It's getting on a bit. I'm going to get this video onto all the social media stuff and keep them up to date. Join me tomorrow at in the afternoon, probably after the Grand Prix, something like that. And I'll be doing the Sunday Chill. That's more chill music on that. But tonight, thanks a lot for joining me. Had some good fun. Enjoyed playing again. And yeah, if you like the music, check it out. Share it. Order it, whatever you like. I don't push a lot on advertising. I just show people what I do, and 80,000 fans around the world. I'm happy with that. I'm not going to be greedy. I don't need management. I don't need agents. I don't need things like that. So I just basically do that. I don't go on Spotify. I don't do things like that. I just sell on BANDCAMP and some of the websites and that. Do merchandise, as you can see here. Look, there's me. And I've got cups and another hat. Look at that, another hat there. I've got bags. God dear. Bags and all. Here we go. Show the bags. There's a bag. And there's a handsome guy again. And they're all on there. Check out all the links. Every single link goes to somewhere. I always check them every day to make sure they all still work. Not like you go to a link and it don't work. That's the most annoying thing. I actually get hold of the people it's on like a website or something like that and say, hey, did you know that web link don't work? Because if I didn't, they could be years and years and years thinking it works and it don't work. You always check your stuff. Always check your stuff. And I hope you like the old playing on the old keyboards. And take care. Thanks for joining us. I will see you soon.